Oh, here we go. We're live. I didn't even get a countdown. So we're just going to hang in there for anybody who wants to join us and give us a hello if you're there. Welcome Friday morning. How are you doing today, Jeffrey?
I'm doing great.
I know you've been traveling and trying to find your ground before you travel again. So
That's
if you're
right. Sure am. Looking for that ground right now.
I know, and here we're going to talk about more travel. We've got some folks starting to join us. So if you're there and you are chiming in, give us a little hello. Tell us where you are connecting in from and how you're doing today. I'm here with the fabulous Jeffrey Warren, and we're going to do a little chit chat about spiritual travels. And as I know people are joining, I'm just going to kind of dive us right into this. So if anybody, again, wants to just add some love or share a little comment to us, please do so. We'd love to support you with any questions. But God, Jeffrey, spiritual travel is showing up everywhere now, isn't it?
Yeah, it really seems like it is.
It does. And I think I'd love to just, I hear a lot of people ask me, and I'm sure they ask you, why do you go to these places? That's a big question I get. Why do we go to places like Egypt and India and Peru and Mexico on these travels? And why do we bring people with us? And now we're starting to see more and more people creating these opportunities to travel to these incredible sacred spaces. So we wanted to take a little time to share with you all about what is a sacred journey, why we like doing it, and what are the benefits from traveling. And, if you're thinking about going on a journey with us or someone that we know or somebody else out there who's got a journey, we'd love to answer any questions that you may have about traveling in a sacred way. So with that being said, again, if you're tuning in here, I'm here with the fabulous Jeffrey Warren. So Jeffrey, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself to everybody out there, say hello, just so people know who you are. If they work with me or they know me, they know who you are, but just in case, we'll say a little hello.
Yeah. At this point, if people know you well, they've probably seen me attached to your side here and there. So good morning, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Warren. I live on the East Coast, so sort of between New Hampshire and Massachusetts. So I work as an energetic healer and energy healing, sound healing, breath work, sort of all things, healing consciousness. My interest, or one of my primary interests, is really in supporting people to sort of awaken to more of themselves and really access and discover their innate healing wisdom, that like magic and incredible capacity that each of you has within your own self to heal and transform and awaken to higher and higher levels of self, of just your own self consciousness, healing.
I
Yeah.
love it. And again, if you're joining in and tuning in, give us a little hello. Let us know that you know that we're live with you all. It's Friday morning, so everybody's just probably getting up and getting started with their day. So we appreciate it if you're taking a moment to join us here. And we, you do all this healing work, which I love to do, all the different healing sounds. And we're going to talk about a really cool free event that Jeffrey and I have coming up soon, this Monday soon, that you can join us with to play with the energy of sound and healing. But one of the things we really wanted to spend a little time today was to talk about sacred travels, in traveling to, unique places like India, again, Peru, Mexico. And Jeffrey and I really connected on one of my first journeys that I worked with some other friends of ours that we co-collaborated with. And now you journey, not only have you journeyed with me on a few as a support person, you have started to create your own spiritual journeys to other cool places. And now we're going to do one together. So we'll share a little bit about that as well. But talk to me a little bit about what calls you to sacred journey. What is it that you love about traveling to these places? And how do you feel they affect and change you in any way?
Yeah, such a good question. So like what it really, really is for me can be actually summed up in two words. So it's sacred resonance. When I travel to different places, what it seems like we're able to do is to tap into this sacred resonance, like traveling to these incredible places where deep spiritual, ceremonial, magical work has been done for, in some places, like thousands and thousands of years. And sometimes the origins aren't even known. So when we travel to, sacred sites, temples from Mexico to Peru to India to Egypt, wherever we travel, what we're able to do is tap into this like living energetic vibration that is still sort of pulsing forward from these sacred sites, and really allow them into our lives, into our fields, to have like a potent sort of energetic experience while we're there, with the ultimate sort of intention or experience of having these things actually begin to shift and transform aspects of our lives, aspects of our being. And when we refine who we are, we show up to um sorry, let me say that a little differently. When I shift the quality of my being, when I enhance and improve the quality of who I am, I show up improved, enhanced in every situation, in every relationship, to my job, to, any of my work, to any event. So this idea of sacred travel, while it's wild and fun and, can be deeply spiritual, it can bring us these peak experiences. What I find is that there is a deeper benefit that continues to sort of move forward in my life.
I love
Yeah.
it.
So
And
yeah.
I think, and it is, right? I feel like when we travel, we shift and change so much. And, I often have a saying that when we go to these places and we, go to, again, we're talking about, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about traveling to sacred sites. And, I find that when journey people come back, they feel so alive that they want to just blow up their life and change everything. And I think that's the magic of these journeys. And I often have to say, wait a second, don't blow up your life right when you get home. Sit for a few weeks, let the energy sit, let it permeate before you make big changes. Because I know when I've done my, as a participant of Sacred Journeys and now as a leader of Sacred Journeys, I remember when I would come back from some of the ones where I just a participant, and Egypt was when we went to Egypt for my first time. It was one of those where I quit my job, and I then, started going completely solo in my career. And I was able to, kind of take off in the world of spirit, and mediumship was life changing that way. But when I rewind to that time and think about how quickly I quit my job, thank God I could make life work. But I always kind of go, maybe one more month of just better planning might have made that more graceful, because I do think that these journeys do awaken stuff in us. And the other piece I love about what you're saying too is that we're reconnecting with parts of your soul that have been to these places before.
Yeah.
How many, if you're out there and you're tuning in and you feel called to a certain site or a certain place, is there anywhere that you feel really calls you? And Jeffrey, what was one of the places that either we've been to or you still want to go to that on a soul level has just been calling your name?
Well, for me, like, it was really so. I mean, there are many places, but one of the places for me was really where Lauren and I solidified, or not even solidified. It was like we really became awakened to our relationship together. Was in the ancient land known as the City of the Gods, Teotihuacan, in ancient Mexico. And what I love about what you just shared too is, like, I had a very similar experience, and that was my first taste of sacred travel. I went with Lauren and other like friends of ours, and I remember standing on the top of the Temple of Quetzalcoatl, the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, standing with Lauren, and I was encouraged to let go of that which I was really ready to release in my life. And I was asked the question of, like, what would be worth taking that leap of faith forward? And at the time, standing next to Lauren on top of this temple, I say, okay, like, great mystery, great spirit, I'm ready for the entire structure of my life to change. I didn't know exactly what that looked like. I didn't know exactly how to do it. But this is where, I can tell you, within 8 months of that,
Remember.
of like seeing, sort of imagining that new life, that new thing that I wanted, within 8 months, I had left my job. I was working for myself. I was actually starting to do some part-time work with Lauren, which was not expected or planned at all.
We planned
And she
that in the bus though, on the way to the airport.
totally. Absolutely. But I even mean standing on that temple, I knew my soul was calling for something different. It was calling for a change. I didn't even have to like plan it all out. I didn't even have to know all the answers. I had to show up at the top of that sacred site, get as honest with myself as I could, and just project my vision, my hope, my desire out into the world, and then just allow it to happen. And like, that's why I love sacred travel, and that's why I keep doing things like this, because that first experience that I had was incredible. It's like there's proof in the pudding, and for me, like, yeah, something really happened for me, and that's why I love traveling with you, Lauren, and why I've followed you around the world. India doesn't really matter where you're going, I'm coming too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
A lot of incredible things do happen on these journeys. And I do remember, that first time. And again, for those of you who are popping in and out and have any questions about travel or Jeffrey and I about healing work, anything like that, pop them up in the comments. We'd be more than happy to support. And if you're there even listening, again, we're talking about sacred places. Is there anywhere in the world that you've been called to, or you feel drawn to, or maybe that you've even been to that has changed your life? Share that with us. We'd love to know, what are some of the cool places that you've seen or been or feel called to? What's interesting, Jeffrey, is I think we all feel called to, I talk about Egypt a lot. You're on your way in 3 days to Egypt? Something like that.
Yeah, maybe 5. I don't even know my
Oh, wait,
schedule.
you're going to stop here and we'll talk about a little live event that we're going to do this Monday as well. You're going to pop in here to the little room and we're going to do a little live sound bath together. But one of the interesting things, so Jeffrey's off to Egypt in a couple days. I'm going to be going to Egypt in November. And for me, that was one of those places that called me as a young child. I mean, I would dream about the pyramids and the Sphinx. And I used to have this lovely dream when I was a kid about walking up to the paw of the Sphinx and going, nice kitty, kitty. And I think it's a lion personally, but we can go through the debate of, is it a lion or is it Anubis? And I feel so blessed that now not only have I been to the paw of the Sphinx, I've been there 5 times and I've been able to pet the paw many times. And that's the other cool thing about these spiritual journeys that we create, is they're different than traveling with just a tour. You're not just walking into the Giza plateau and taking pictures, or you're not just walking, to the, Quetzalcoatl, the pyramids in Teo, or, going to the Ganges in India and just taking pictures and walking away. We are immersing you guys into these traditions as best as we can. And I think that that's so different about spiritual travel than just travel to travel. A lot of times, I feel like when we go to Machu Picchu, for example, we'll sit there and we'll take a moment to breathe in the energy of the sacred mountain. Meanwhile, you've got hikers just tromping on by you who don't even care about, like, they just conquered the mountain, but they don't even care about the beautiful energy that actually resides there. So this is where I think sacred journeys are different than just taking a journey. We do travel in that sacred way. We take the time to really imbue into the energy of the culture or the sacred site itself, or, work with the energies that we feel there. So we take a deeper journey. And our friend Julianne, who you'll be traveling with, I love this. She always says that every journey has 2 aspects. There's the outward journey, and that's the journey of you moving through these temples and sites and places. But then there's the inner journey, and that's the journey of you feeling into, why are you here? And what is it that you're supposed to witness or experience or awaken into on these journeys? So that's why I think spiritual travel is becoming more known, is becoming more exciting for people, because there is a little extra detail of deepening into the connection of these places that I think a lot of other just regular travel doesn't quite bring to you. Any thoughts that you would even add into that?
Well, yeah, I think everything you just shared was really beautiful. But yeah, I mean, when we travel in like more of a sacred context, it's beyond tourism, right? Yes, we're still we're still getting to visit all these incredible places. We're still getting to take photos and really enjoy meeting people of the land and our co-journeyers. But there's just something that's so much more. I think it's when we're doing sacred travel, that's when like the more healing and transformative aspects sort of come forward
Mm,
that aren't always there with just sort of, ordinary travel.
yeah.
Yeah, it's opportunities to heal, it's opportunities to connect, to move deeper, like Lauren said, in the inner journey, deeper within your own self, and even deeper in the outer journey, using the energy, the sacred resonance that's still in these places to actually create a shift in your life. And that's where sacred travel just feels um, so much more like activating and transformative and healing to me
Yeah.
rather than just, sightseeing.
I love it. So I want to talk about a very special place to both of us. And we're going to share a little bit about an upcoming creation that Jeffrey and I have here. I love it when we call it creation, like a co-creation. We like to come together and feel into different experiences. And, even though we've been to these sites, a few of us now, a few sites a couple times, like you've been to Teo a few times, I've been to India a few times. Every time we go on these journeys with our groups, we're still shifting and changing. There's always us being a part of that experience with you as well. And the other thing about Sacred Journeys is you become family. I love how we have little circles of little spiritual families that have kind of journeyed with us around, and they stay in touch with each other. We support each other. We love each other. It's such a cool experience. But I want to talk about India. India is such an amazing cacophony of spirituality and life and love and color and joy, sound, smell, scent, everything. Like India is extraordinary. And I dragged Jeffrey to India, in 2019 with the incredible Tony Stockwell as well. Talk to us a little bit about what you felt in India as we get ready to maybe head back. Like what did you feel? How did India shift you? And it's really shifted you, I know, because of some of the work that you do now with sound healing. Talk to us a little bit about your experience there.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that I love so much about India is that it really does, for me, it felt very different from a lot of the places that I had been before. And one thing that I love so much is like India is the energy that's there. It's so living. Like we are okay, now I got it. With India, it's like okay, so let me just share. I'll get real personal. So even as I'm like thinking about this thing, I'm like, oh my gosh, and then this. So with India, it's like you're actually stepping into an energy that has continued to flow and sort of continued to like be active. So even as I was trying to get that out, I was starting to think, well, of course, the Ganges is there, this like great mother river that is
Mm.
flowing through the land. Of course, it's just the energy that's there is constant and moving. Where in some sites, which I love, but a site like Teo, Egypt, where some of the practices they're not currently living, but we can still tap into all of the sacred work that's been done there. India feels so different where you don't have to tap into the ancient past because it's still happening.
Still happening.
Sacred flames that have been alive for however many thousands of years, things that are continuing to be energized and continuing to flow from the past. I think is one of the things that makes India pretty special, pretty vibrant.
Yeah, I like the word vibrant. I think of all the many places that we've traveled to, and I now realize that I went to India as a journeyer, as a participant once, and I probably now have been to India more times, and not because you never know, on a sacred journey you might meet your future husband. Case in point. And I remember, like we talk about, Egypt called me as a young child. And I didn't really feel the call waken in me to India until I was in my 20s in Peru, in a sacred journey of a different sort. And, we started chanting these incredible chants from India. And I just was like, and then all of a sudden, India just started appearing in my life in all these different ways. This was years before I would go. And I find it's interesting that when a site wakes up in you, when the energy wakes up in you too, my head is tingling as we talk about it, the universe starts to put it in your path. I would come home from Peru and I met a woman who was like introducing me to India chants, and we'd start going to kirtan, and the next thing you know, I'm meeting Amma, the hugging saint, and like all of a sudden India just started to flow into my life in all these ways. I'm like, okay, I'll get there one day. And it would be almost 15 years later after my first connection to India that I actually go. And now it is one of my favorite places to bring people, because there is such, like you're saying, and I always say this, India is alive. And it is still living, as you were also, acknowledging, that living culture. So you walk into a ceremony of the Ganges and you're surrounded by people chanting and praying, and you get to, dance and sing and become alive in these amazing, amazing energies. So, I'm really excited because we're going back together in March of 2024, which is not far. And what's really exciting about this journey, and I've been able to experience this in India, it'll be your first time, is that we're also going during the Holi festival celebration. Mm-hmm. And this is the celebration of color and friendship and joy. And I love Holi. I remember the first time I experienced Holi in India. You're walking through the crowds and they have colored powder and people are just happy Holi and they're painting your face with color. And you're doing it to strangers, like happy Holi. And next thing you know, you're just a walking rainbow of powdered color. And you feel like you just feel alive. You feel like you've been blessed so many times. And, really Holi is about celebrating your soul color, your soul joy, that essence that lives within you. So I'm really excited to not only create a sacred journey that we're going to do with a retreat style this time too, and we'll talk a little bit about that, but that we're actually going to participate in the Holi festival while it's happening in India. And you may see this more and more every year now in the United States. Is becoming a little bit more of an internationally known holiday now. That, the celebration of colors that happens in the spring, in March, and it is about rebirth as well. So what we're going to do here is also go to Rishikesh, one of my favorite places in the world, along the Holy Ganges, where we're going to retreat you for a few days in this gorgeous space on the river and create healing ceremonies and intuitive classes. And Jeffrey and I have found ways to create random, sound. We just grab things from the local area and make sound baths happen. And so we're excited to create this opportunity to not only journey and see a few places, but to also sit and retreat and connect and feel the blessings of the Ganges. The river is so holy and so cleansing. So are you excited about this, Jeffrey? Because I know I am.
I am excited. I'm ready to go. If I wasn't heading somewhere else in 5 days, I'd say, let's go now.
Right. I know we both have journeys to do before then, but we're hoping that, maybe if you guys are curious about India, or even just want to get away and retreat and heal and cleanse, come with us to India this March of 2024. You can find link in the comment section if you want to learn more. And this has also inspired us a lot, Jeffrey. Actually, in India, this will segue us into our next little fun free announcement we've got coming up. Randomly, we did our very first sound bath together in India. And I'm not joking when I say we had our Kapil, my now husband and guide, out in India grabbing us sound bowls and rattles and anything that he could find in Rishikesh to give us an opportunity to create a sound journey bath. And we did this on the river, and everybody had a crazy opportunity to just journey out and really feel the water. And meanwhile, Jeffrey and I are going, I hope this works. But I love how spirit does. It makes it work in any moment. Anything can happen in any moment and really come together. And that's kind of birthed us into doing these really fun sound baths. Some of you may have done some of our, 11:11 ones, or these, the 8:8 gateway ones. So there's absolutely an opportunity to work with sound and healing. So that segues me into what's coming up this Monday, September 25th. Jeffrey's going to be back here in my little tiny office space, and we're going to do a free mini sound bath. And we're going to talk with you all about the power of sound and healing, or I should say that better, the power of using sound in your healing technique, your practice, your spiritual work. And that can be everything from using singing bowls like I have in the back, or a drum, a rattle, chanting, working with mantras, which is also what India really inspires, is the work of the mantra, the work of divine chanting. And we would love for you to come join us this Monday. You can click, again, the link in the comments for, it's just, you get to sit and enjoy it. And we just want to give this to you. We want to gift this to you all as a way of maybe introducing sound into your healing practice, or maybe you have it in your healing practice and you want to work with it more or get over the fear. Like people get afraid, I think, to chant because they think they have to be a perfect singer. So Jeffrey, anything you want to talk about? You're bigger about using sound even more than I do in the work. It is the basis of your healing work.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about how that you feel has changed and benefited you.
Yeah, well, I think one of the most amazing things about sound is that, so, Lauren mentions singing bowls, drums, rattles. There's all sorts of incredible instruments that you can use. And, when Lauren says like your healing practice, this could mean, to me, it could mean someone who's, in like some type of professional path, but it could also, as equally, it could mean like your personal path, your personal healing path, your personal path of transformation. And so while external instruments are amazing and so fun and easy to bring in, and we'll talk about this more on Monday, one of the most incredible tools that you always have access to is your own voice. Yeah. And this could be utilizing something like mantra, which you could learn and study and practice, or it could even be learning how and awakening to using your voice in very simple ways without having to memorize any mantra. Mm-hmm. And so we'll talk more about that on Monday, but just it's so easy and potent and effective to use your own voice as a tool for healing and transformation. Even if you don't think you're a great singer, even if you aren't interested in learning Gurmukhi or Punjabi or some language that is very, not like English, through simple humming, through simple toning, we can learn practices that can actually shift things on physiological levels, on emotional levels, on mental levels, spiritual levels. Chanting, toning, humming, these practices are incredible. And please do join us Monday for our free session, because we'll talk about this and we'll teach you ways to work with it. It's easy, effective, doesn't cost anything, and great fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I know that as we've done sound baths, there's an evolution that happens when people work together and they collaborate. Jeffrey, we've done a few now. I know Jeffrey, by the way, if you're in New Hampshire and other areas, go to Jeffrey's website, and I'll put it up here, jeffreycharleswarren.com, because he's doing sound baths all over the place. And when you're landed in the area. And it's really great to just get on the floor and hear the sound bath, the bowls and the gong and all these amazing sounds. And sometimes he'll come join me here and let me jump into his amazing sound work and add a little guided meditation. And I'm a shy person. I know let me correct myself. I'm not shy in all ways.
For a second to rewind that a little bit. Go ahead, tell us again, Lauren.
Right. I'm shy when it comes to my voice. Like, I chant here on my own, but for me to sit in a public forum and just open up and lead a chant would terrify me. Okay. And it's funny because as we've done some sound ones, we've been adding a little bit of chanting into them. And sometimes I'm in the middle of chanting the Satsang Sahu, for example, and you're going along with me. And I'm like, oh, this is working. Like, so I think it's important that people know that you might be nervous, but, and by the way, if you join us for a webinar, you won't be live. So if you feel like you want to chant with us, we won't put you on screen. But I think you might be surprised of how, when you get for me, it was getting the ego out of the way and not really caring how I sounded, but rather just letting the chant come through because there was something that needed to be activated or moved there. So I think it's really, a cool opportunity. We are so excited to put together this little taster for you all. And again, you're right, Jeffrey, it's not about healing practice. So you don't have to be just a healing practitioner to benefit from this webinar. It's about adding it even to your spiritual practice, whether that's you want to add it with meditation or you want sound in some way to be a part of your shift in practice. As you can see behind me, I have singing bowls that I use, and I'm not like Jeffrey where I'm out doing sound bowl healing, but I love the sound. And sometimes I grab one and just ring the sound to shift me. And I think it's extraordinary to add the element of a form of sound or chant and music into your life, into your practice in any way that you can. And in some aspects of mediumship, we have what we call trance dance or intuitive dance, where you're even letting music move you physically in an intuitive way, and letting it open your body and open your energy. So I think the power of sound in your healing and spiritual practice is extraordinary. So we're excited to share this with you all. And you do have to register to join us. So you can click at the link in the comments, go to laurenrainbow.com or jeffreywarren.com, or check any of our social medias. This is this Monday, September 25th at 7 p.m. We'll be live on Zoom, and I'm excited to really just I think we're going to work on chanting more together, which is going to be fun. And I have to get out of my ego brain and just let it happen. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh, well, Jeffrey, I know we've talked about a lot today, and, for anybody tuned in and listened to us, or if you're catching us on the replay, again, you can find more about both the journey to India that's happening this March 2024. We have intimate groups that go. We're looking forward to, bring you to India with us for Holi, and we'll see the Taj Mahal. We're going to see some holy cities. We're going to participate in old traditional celebrations and festivals, as well as retreat inward and work with sound and other healing modalities for you on this journey. So you can check that in the Holi celebration itself. I think I said that, but just remember the colors of Holi. I'm so excited to go back and enjoy Holi in India. So you can go to, again, either of our websites, so jeffreycharleswarren.com for more information and about what he's doing. Go check out a sound bath, go see him. He's extraordinary, brings a lot of healing, grace, and love into the work that you do. And so I'm excited to always share this time with you. And you can find out more at my website, which is laurenrainbow.com. All of this stuff is listed there and on our social medias. I'm sure if you follow us here on Instagram, or here on Facebook or YouTube, and then Instagram, we would love to have you join us somewhere along your journey and allow us to be a part of that extraordinary movement that you have in life. Jeffrey, anything you want to add before we say goodbye?
I just want to say thank you all so much for being here and for tuning in. And I just hope to dive deeper and deeper with all of you. And Lauren, thank you so much. It's always lovely to see you and spend time with you. And, when it's not traversing an international sacred site, Zoom works too. And it makes it very easy for us in our busyness. So lovely to just be here with you today for sure.
I know. I'm so excited. I hope you enjoy Egypt and get the energy started for when our group goes in November. And for anybody there who is just out there tuning in, we hope you have a gorgeous day. Have a good one.